قال المؤلف رحمه الله. We are continuing in the Bughya, in the section of the sins of the hands, under the sin of depicting what has a soul. The author said, Rahimahullah, وروى البخاري ومسلم أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال. And Al-Bukhari and Muslim narrated that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, لا تدخل الملائكة بيتا فيه كلب أو سورة. The angels do not enter a house in which there is a dog or a surah. What's the surah mean? For the Malikis, the surah is the figure in particular. For the Shafi'is and the Hanafis, the surah is a figure or 2D. 2D picture. Figure or 2D picture. Fasuratu, Sheikh Samir said, if the Malikis are wrong and you took by their saying and therefore kept pictures of things that images of what sustains life, then the angels will not enter the house, although you're not sinful. You won't be sinful because you have a valid ijtihad to take, and the angels will not enter that house because that ijtihad, if it is not correct, then they won't enter that house because it's not correct ijtihad. Allah knows best. فالصورة إن كانت على هيئة يعيش بها الحيوان. And so, the image, if it is upon a form by which a living creature could survive, تمنع دخول ملائكة الرحمة. This obstructs the entrance of the angels of mercy. ولو كانت في صندوق داخل البيت. Even if they were in a house inside, even if they were in a box inside the house. إلا إذا كانت على نحو بساط يداس. Unless they were upon the likes of a carpet that is stepped upon. أما الملائكة الكرام والكاتبون. But concerning the noble angelic scribes, فيدخلون, they do indeed enter. لأنهم لا يفارقون الشخص إلا عندما يكون في بيت الخلاء أو في حالة الجماع. Because they do not depart a person unless he is in the outhouse or the bathroom, the lavatory, or while he is engaging in intercourse. وَمَعَ هَذَا, and despite that, يَعْلَمُونَ مَا يَفْعَلُ هَذَا الشَّخْص. They still know what this person does. بِإِعْلَامِ اللَّهِ لَهُمْ, by Allah making them know. فِي الْوَقْتِ الَّذِي يُفَارِقُونَهُ فِيهِ, during the time in which they depart him. And there's no escape. وَأَمَّا الصَّلَاةُ فِي غُرْفَةٍ فِيهَا صُوَرٌ. As for prayer in a room that has images, صُوَرُ حَيَوَانَاتٍ كَامِلَةٍ, images of complete animals, فِي خِزَانَةٍ بِحَيْثُ لَا تُرَى, in a cabinet where they are not seen. فَهَذِهِ لَا تَمْنَعُ الثَّوَابَ فِي الصَّلَاةِ. This does not prevent the reward of the prayer. أَمَّا مَنْ كَانَتْ أَمَامَهُ أَوْ يَنْظُرُ إِلَيْهَا. As for the one in front of whom those pictures are, or he looks at them while he's praying. فَهَذَا مَكْرُوهٌ فِي الصَّلَاةِ. This is disliked in the prayer. بخلاف انعكاس الصورة في المرآة, as opposed to the reflection of the image in the mirror. فلا يؤثر, this has no effect. أما إن انشغل بها فمكروه. But if he gets distracted by it, then it will be disliked. So take those cases. Brothers and sisters ask about that frequently. What about if I'm praying in a room that has pictures? So you can give them the answer. As long as you exactify the judgment here. Don't mix it up. Don't say it wrongly. So, for example, write it down properly, exactly, clearly, study it, memorize it, have it clear, say it the way you took it, and then benefit others with it. وَأَمَّا الْاحْتِفَاظُ بِصُوَرِ الْمَشَايِخِ. Now, as for keeping pictures of sheikhs, وَالتَّبَرُّكُ بِهَا, and seeking blessings by those pictures, فهو بدعة قبيحة بخلاف التبرك بصورة الشعرة النبوية الشريفة. That's an ugly innovation. I need to add that in the outstanding reference to the bad innovations. Keeping pictures of sheikhs, seeking blessings from those pictures. That's an ugly innovation. بخلاف تبرك بصورة شعرة النبوية الشريفة, as opposed to seeking blessings from the image of the noble prophetic hair. Brothers and sisters, put those pictures in their WhatsApp and in their different, what do you call those? Profile pictures. They're doing you a favor there. They're making those pictures accessible for you to seek blessings from the image of the noble prophetic hair. May Allah reward them. Not to mention they are expressing their love for that. وَصُورَةِ قَبْرِهِ الشَّرِيفِ. Also, the same goes for the picture of his noble grave. فَإِنَّهُ أَمْرٌ حَسَنٌ لَا بَأْسَ بِهِ. That is indeed a good thing. There's no problem with it. Also, I heard that you can do the same with a picture of the Kaaba that is devoid of any humans. Just the Kaaba only, without any people in the picture. Then you can seek blessings from that too. وأجاز بعض المالكية بيع الصورة المعمولة من الحلوى لتؤكل. And some of the Malikis permitted selling sweets that are sculpted. That's an easy way to say what's there. Some of the Malikis legalized sculpted sweets so that they would be eaten. Sweets to be eaten. If they are sculpted, they said you can get those. So, that's, that's some food, some chocolate in the shape of a rabbit or a cow or something. Don't they have animal crackers? You know about those? And also so-called Swedish fish, those little red, chewy, gummy fishes. And like that, gummy bears. As for the gummy worm, it's supposed to be a worm, so if they just don't call it a worm, it's just going to be a string of gelatinous candy. But they called it a worm, so it's supposed to be depicting a worm. Anyway, the Maliki said this can be purchased for eating. وصرح الشافعية بجواز استبقاء الصورة إذا كانت على أرض أو بساط يداس. And the Shafi'is were explicit about the permissibility of keeping the picture when it is on the ground or a carpet that is stepped upon. وَنَحْوِهِمَا مِنْ كُلِّ مُمْتَهَنٍ. And anything else like that that is degraded. Anything else that is degrading. So, Yani, if you want, you can ask to be sure. What if there's a picture on your toilet tissue? Like that? وكذلك نصوا على جواز استبقاء الصورة التي تكون في الدرهم والدينار والفلس. And likewise, they documented the permissibility of keeping the image upon the golden and silver coins and the coins of other metals. The fels, change. Fels is coins of other than gold or silver. Fels is the singular of fulus. And a lot of Muslims, maybe they just see the word fulus meaning money. And they might say, I don't have any fulus. But the fulus is more exactly mere change. Change meaning just coins. I don't know if all of, in all the English speaking world, they call that change. So just the coins, but not golden or silver coins. وَسَائِرُ مَا يُعَدُّ مُمْتَهَنًا, and anything else that is regarded as degraded. So, I mean, for me, it's clear. The question that I posed. And I wanted to give you a benefit too. So, the Shafi'is, they said, it is forbidden to initiate the image of something that can be alive. Yes, that's clear for you. But it is permissible to keep it if it is not upon the form of what could survive. Like if it's just a mere head or a chest and a head, something that can't live like that, or just a hand or a foot. So they said starting the picture is haram. And if it is not a complete picture, if it is not complete form that can sustain life, then you can keep it. And then I gave you an example to make that easier for you to understand. Because personally, I didn't understand that well when I first learned it. You cannot start the picture, but you can keep it if it doesn't have the form of what would be alive like that. It's clear for me now. And I gave you an example to make it clear for you. For example, someone spays a cat. That's haram. You cannot spay the cat. That's haram. You're mutilating it. Or pull its nails out. But if you found one like that, can you get it? Yes, you can. So you can't do it. But if you had one, you can keep it. So that's an example. I want to give you another example too. Like what? Like golden and silver plating. It is haram to plate an object with gold or silver. The plating is haram. But if the plating has been done and it is so light that you're not able to collect any of that gold or silver, if you were to expose it to fire, then keeping it is permissible. To keep it is permissible, but to actually do the plating is haram. So that's 3 cases you have there. So those 3 cases, what rule do they fall under? I don't know. May Allah grant us more knowledge. وَيُسْتَثْنَى مِنْ تَحْرِيمِ صُوَرِ الْحَيَوَانَاتِ لُعَبُ الْبَنَاتِ الصِّغَارِ. And excluded from the prohibition of images of living creatures are dolls, girl dolls, baby dolls for girls. Girl baby dolls for girls. He didn't say 4 girls here. He's just saying the girl baby doll. The doll or the doll of the girl, not the woman. Not the doll of the woman. So not like Barbie. Rather the doll of the baby or the girl. For a girl. So not a G.I. Joe, that's a man. And not for a boy. وصرح المالكية بجواز شراء ذلك للبنات الصغار. And the Malikis were explicit about the permissibility of selling this to the small girls, meaning to their parents or whoever can buy for them, for the small girls, selling it for the little girls to play with. So we have some footnotes here. What do these footnotes say? Here, Bismillah. The first footnote here goes to this statement. The Shafi'is were explicit about the permissibility of keeping the picture. This footnote goes with this statement here. وصرح الشافعية بجواز استبقاء الصورة إذا كانت على أرض. And the Shafi'is were explicit about the permissibility of keeping the picture if it is on the ground or on a carpet that is stepped upon. That's where the footnote goes to. It says, قال الدمياطي. الدمياطي said, في الإعانة, in his book الإعانة, وذلك لأن ما يوطأ ويطرح مهان مبتذل. That is because whatever is stepped upon or tossed is degraded and spent, yani done away with, given away. Okay. And here's another footnote. The second footnote goes here. And likewise, they documented the permissibility of keeping the picture, which is on golden and silver coins and other coins and the rest of whatever is counted as degraded. Footnote, قال الدمياطي. الدمياطي also said في الإعانة وعبارة التحفة. He cites another book. Here is the expression in the book of At-Tuhfa. I don't know which Tuhfa he's referring to. Fara, branch. Yani, it's like saying digression. لا يؤثر حمل النقد الذي عليه صورة كاملة. Carrying cash that has complete picture on it has no effect. لأنه للحاجة, because this is needed. And it's hard to do without it. So there's religious rule. When situation gets tight, the rules of the religion expand. When the situation narrows, the religious rules expand. وَلِأَنَّهَا مُمْتَهَنَةٌ بِالْمُعَامَلَةِ بِهَا. And because they are degraded by using them for transaction. So the previous statement clarifies that. It means, you give it, you take it, like this. Not a big thing for you. وَلِأَنَّ السَّلَفَ كَانُوا يَتَعَامَلُونَ بِهَا. And because the Salaf used to deal with those مِنْ غَيْرِ نَكِيرٍ, without objection. وَمَنْ لَازَمَ ذَلِكَ عَادَةً. No. ومن لازم ذلك عادة حملهم لها. And by extension, then it's going to be normal that they are carrying those. If they are dealing with those, then by extension, they're going to be carrying them. وَأَمَّا الدَّرَاهِمُ الْإِسْلَامِيَّةِ. And as for the Islamic golden coins, dirham, silver coins. As for the Islamic silver coins, فَلَمْ فلم تحدث إلا في زمن عبد الملك. They didn't happen until the time of Abdul Malik. وكان مكتوبا عليها اسم الله. And the name of Allah was written on them. واسم رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. And also the name of the messenger of Allah صلى الله عليه وسلم was written on them. And here's another footnote. And excluded, Yani, this footnote goes to this sentence, and excluded from the prohibition of the images of living creatures are the girl dolls, the dolls of little girls, the dolls that are depictions of little girls. Footnote, قال الدمياطي للإعانة. الدمياطي also said, قوله, when the author said, نعم يجوز تصوير لعب البنات. It is permissible to depict girl dolls. وهي التي يسمونها عروسة. I'm not sure what goes on the ayn actually. Ayn, fatha, dhamma, what? لأن عائشة رضي الله عنها كانت تلعب بها عنده صلى الله عليه وسلم. Because Aisha used to play with those in the Prophet's presence صلى الله عليه وسلم. That's interesting to me because Aisha, she's very high scholar and she was a girl, of course, at the time. But she became a very high scholar and she is an alpha genius, a prodigious genius. Yet, though she was a prodigious genius, it is recorded that she played. And it was said about other people amongst the high-ranking ones, that in their childhood, they didn't used to play. I am just interested in that only. I'm not like praising or dispraising. I'm not dispraising her for this. I just find it interesting. Because maybe one might think, when he heard about those pious ones and scholars who didn't used to play when they were little, that someone like that would not play when he's little. But we see what was reported about Aisha. And that was reported about our sheikh, that he didn't used to like to play when he was little. And he said, even if my mother put me in water, even when my mother put me in the water, I didn't want to play. Subhanallah. Qawluhu. So Ad-Dimyati goes on. He says, the author said, and he's explaining someone else's words. Wa hikmatuhu. And the wisdom behind this rule. A. Jawazi taswiri lu'abil banat. The wisdom behind the permissibility of depicting girl dolls. وقوله تدريبهن is training them. A, تعليمهن, meaning teaching them. وقوله أمر التربية, the matter of child rearing, the matter of child rearing. A, تربية من يأتي لهن من الأولاد إذا كبرنا, meaning raising any children that they get when they get bigger. Yeah, you've seen them. They're going to take the doll baby. They're going to put them to sleep in their imagination, of course, in their game. Put the covers on them, feed them in their imagination, like that. Carry them, pat their backs, and like that. And here's another footnote. This footnote goes here. And the Malikis were explicit about the permissibility of buying that for the little girls. Footnote, في الفواكه. So, Yani looks like it says al-fawakih ad-dawani, but I'm not really sure how to read that title. It is a book that has commentary for the treatise of Ibn Abi Zayd al-Qayrawani, and it's a Maliki book. Min kutubi al-Malikiyah ma nassuhu, quote, yustathna mimma lahu dhillun qa'imun al-mujma'u ala hurmatihi suwaru lu'abil banat, excluded from what casts a shadow. Excluded from what casts a shadow. So, yani, a figure. Amongst what is, yani, that which there is an agreement about it being prohibited, yani, excluded from the figure that there is an agreement that it is forbidden is the girl doll. And I just want to say doll baby. If you accept, I'll just say doll baby. It means what I told you. So means the doll in the shape of a little girl, like a girl or a baby. But I'm just going to say doll baby to make it easy for myself. فَإِنَّهَا لَا تَحْرُمْ. This is not forbidden. وَيَجُوزُ this. وَيَجُوزُ اسْتِصْنَاعُهَا وَصَنْعُهَا وَبَيْعُهَا وَشِرَاؤُهَا. And it is permissible to have it manufactured, to have it made. It is permissible to seek its manufacturing and to make it, yani to seek for it to be made and to make it and to buy it, to sell it and to buy it. Lahunna, for them, for those little girls. لأن بهن يتدربن على حمل الأطفال, because by those dolls the little girls will get practice, will practice carrying babies. فقد كان, subhanallah. And look at also some of the things, pay attention as you learn the religion, the things that the religion drew importance to, and things that the religion told us are not important. Sometimes we might not perceive those on our own. Is this important? So the religion gave it enough importance to make it lawful for, yani to make it an exception to the rule. it was important enough to make it an exception to the rule. فقد كان لعائشة رضي الله عنها جوار يلاعبنها بصور البنات المصنوعة من نحو خشب. Indeed, Aisha had girls, friends, yani. She had friends who used to play with her with dolls made of wood, made of the likes of wood. فإذا رأينا الرسول عليه الصلاة والسلام يستحين منه. I don't know that word right there. And when they would see the messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, they would feel shy. And then there's something, I'm not sure what that means. And then he said, وَأَمَّا فِعْلُهَا لِلْكِبَارِ فَحَرَامٌ. And as for making them for adults, that's forbidden. Yes. So you cannot be a doll collector like some people. Some people might collect Gundams, if you know what those are. Gundam models. They build the model and then they keep it in their places, in their homes. And some people collect Transformers and the likes of those. And some people collect stuffed animals. And I like how one brother made a comment about how immature that is. He was saying, you people are so immature. You know, this is not Muslim habit. Maybe some Muslims do it, but they didn't take it from Muslim culture. You're saying you people are so immature. You have the nerve to talk about other people. And you are grown people. You got stuffed animals in your bed. You're sleeping with bears and things like this. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, they make trinkets of those things. So maybe you'll see someone with backpack. It has silly little trinket dangling from his backpack. These things are not from us, the Muslims. That's their way. Okay. Back to the text here. The Shaykh says, Amma Sabi, as for the boy, فَيُمْنَعُ مِنَ اللَّعِبِ بِهَا وَلَوْ بَكَى لِأَجْلِ ذَلِكَ. He will be prevented from playing with those, even if he cries. ويشترط لتحريم استبقاء الصورة أن تكون الصورة بهيئة يعيش عليها الحيوان. And it is a condition for the prohibition of keeping the image that it is upon a form that sustains life. وقول بعض الشافعية بأن المذهب القائل بجواز ما ليس مجسما مذهب باطل مردود. And what some Shafi'is said, that the madhab that says that it's permissible to have a picture as long as it's not a figure is an invalid madhab, is rejected. لأن ذلك ما عليه جمهور المالكية, because this is what the majority of the Malikis are upon. وهو مذهب القاسم ابن محمد ابن أبي بكر الصديق رضي الله عنهم. And it's also the madhab of Al-Qasim ibn Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr as-Siddiq radiyallahu anhum. Yes. And what is that statement there? Isn't the Shaykh the Shafi'i of this time? Yes, he is, if you didn't know. And what is he doing here? Defending. What is he doing here speaking against some of the Shafi'is? He is speaking against some of the Shafi'is here because what they are saying is wrong. Because the Shaykh is a man of the evidence, really. He's a man of the evidence. This is amongst the benefits that we got from him. He's not a man of the affiliation merely. Rather, he is a man of the evidence. Whichever way the evidence goes is the way he goes. So even though he is the Shafi'i of this time, When some of the Shafi'is were refuting the Maliki school in an invalid way, then he stood up to them. And the author says, Fa'idah, benefit, في كتاب الآداب الشرعية ما نصه. In the book, Al-Adab al-Shar'iyyah, I do not know what that book is. It's cited as if it's a famous book. Quote, قال الشيخ وجيه الدين ابن المنجي شيخ وجيه الدين ابن المنجي said فأما صور الأشجار والتزويقات والتماثيل فمباح. So this Sheikh وجيه الدين ابن المنجي said, as for صور الأشجار, the suwar images, so this word encompasses, I'm not talking about this quote here, just the word suwar, that's plural of surah, fasad. So the surah is the image or the picture, which is inclusive of the figure, just the word itself. So he says, as for the suwar, the images of al-ashjar, the plants, what tazwiqat, and like designs, patterns. What tamathil, so he says what tamathil, so that appears to mean statues. There's a footnote. لا يراد به المجسم إنما صور الأشياء. This statement does not intend to refer to statues. That's what the footnote says. فمباح, this is permissible. وقال ابن أبي موسى, Ibn Abi Musa said, يكره أيضا, it's also disliked. فإن قطع رأس الصورة أو صور جسدها دونها جاز مع الكراهة. Okay, so what is being said here is that apparently this is a Maliki document here. So he says, Sheikh Wajihuddin Ibn al-Munji says, as for the suwar, the images of trees, ashjar, for your information, what I know is the shajar is what has a stalk. What has a stalk can stand up. That's a shajar. So even if it's like just a stalk, according to that, is a shajar, which usually translates as tree. So he says, as for the suwar, images of ashjar, so looks like trees, what tazwiqat, and designs or patterns, what tamathil, looks like he's saying statues, but the footnote says he doesn't mean statues. He means images of things, suwar al-ashya, like people. فمباح, this is permissible. So that's a statement there. Could put a period here. It's permissible. Mubah. Does mubah mean for the Malikis exactly what it means for the Shafi'is? We'll double check. وقال ابن أبي موسى, and Ibn Abi Musa said further than that, further than mubah, he said yukrah, disliked, ayda, also, disliked also. What does this also mean here? Is disliked also? It's permissible and disliked also? Or this word also means something. Aydan. Ask about it, inshallah. فإن قطع رأس الصورة أو صور جسدها دونها. So if one severed the head of the picture or depicted its body without a head, جاز مع الكراهة, that's permissible with dislikedness. That's permissible with dislikedness. فإن كانت الصور في الحيطان والسطور المعلقة والأسرة والسقوف كرهت. And if the pictures were in the walls or on the walls and on the drapes and on the furniture, like the beds or the couches, and on the ceilings, this is disliked. وإن كانت في البسط, and if the pictures were on carpets, وما يداس, and anything stepped upon, ويمتهن, and anything disrespected or disregarded or not held in regard, فغير مكروهة. It's not disliked. The pictures then won't be disliked. I went just through the trouble to say not held in high regard here to include the coins, although those that talk about coins that we passed, that was from Shafi'i school. And the coins were yumtahan. So I feel like a word not as strong as disrespect for the coins, but yani something. What do you do with the coins? You don't mind them, for example, or you pass them off, and you don't see a big deal about them. فغير مكروهة. So the pictures in these things are not disliked. ذكره أصحابنا. Our ashab have mentioned that, rahimahumullah, may Allah have mercy on them. So who's their ashab? Who's the ashab for the Malikis? Yani, what does that mean according to them? We did learn that there are 4 levels of scholarship, and that these 4 levels, if you remember them, the other madhabs have similar rankings. Similar rankings. That's how I learned it. I heard from Sheikh Samir. He didn't say identical, but he says similar. You know those 4 levels. The Imam himself is level 1. This is Shafi'i school. Then the Ashabul Wujuh, that's who the Shafi'is would call the Ashab. Those ones, sometimes I say junior mujtahids, the ones under a Shafi'i. The Shafi'is would call them the Ashab as a madhab terminology. Then under those are the preponderators, the weighers. Then traditionally it stops there, like I told you before. Like if you look in, for example, if you look in Qurratul Ayn by Al-Hattab Al-Maliki, the book in which he explained Al-Waraqat by Imam Al-Haramain, when he mentions these levels, and he's a Maliki, though he was explaining a Shafi'i book, he mentioned just these 3 levels. He didn't mention the level of the record keepers. And in later generations, the record keepers have been annexed as a level of scholars. That's the bottom level. So how do the Malikis break it down? I don't know. Bismillah. ثم قال, and then he said, وقال في المحرر, and he said in Al-Muharrar. Who said in Al-Muharrar? The author of Al-Muharrar, Who's that? That's known to them. يجوز افتراش ما فيه صورة حيوان وجعله وسائد. It is permissible to lay out, to spread out, like as a carpet or a blanket. What has the image of a living creature? And making it a pillow or making them pillows also. Making them pillows. What's that? So I don't have an explanation for that statement. But what's haram by ijma is going to be if that pillow were in the form of a living creature, then it's like a statue. So as if it's saying, just having the picture on the pillow, not that the pillow is the figure. Double check it, inshallah. ثم قال, and then he said, in the same book, Al-Adab al-Shar'iyya, وسأله المروزي عن الرجل يدعى فيرى الكلة فكرهها وقال هي من الرياء والسمعة ولا يجوز تحريق الثياب التي عليها الصور ولا المرقومة التي تصلح بسطا. طيب, I won't try to explain that. فائدة, benefit. بلاد الشام بعضها بالقوة دخلها الإسلام. The Levant, the lands of the Levant, some of them, Islam entered them forcefully. وبعضها صالحوا على الجزية قبل القتال. And some of them settled and agreed to the jizya, to be billed the jizya before fighting. Now, that's not a tax, the jizya, it's a bill. أهل بيت المقدس نصارى القدس صالحوا على الجزية أيام عمر. The people of Jerusalem, the Christians of Jerusalem, they did a settlement and agreed to the jizya in the days of Umar. وفي خلال تلك المدة التي زار فيها عمر فلسطين النصارى دعوه إلى مأدبة طعام إلى داخل الكنيسة. And during that time, when Umar visited Palestine, the Christians invited him to a meal inside the church. فلم يوافق على حضور دعوتهم. And he did not agree to attend their invitation, to respond to their invitation. بل قال, rather he said, إنا لا ندخل كنائسكم من أجل تماثيل. Here's relevance. He said, we do not enter your churches because of these statues. على هذا بقي بيت المقدس إلى أن هاجمت النصارى من إنجليز وفرنسيين وألمان وغيرهم بيت المقدس فاحتلوه 90 سنة. He said, Rahimahullah, this is how Jerusalem stayed until the Christians overran it. The English and the French and the Germans and others, they overran Jerusalem and they occupied it for 90 years. فحاربهم صلاح الدين فأخرجهم. Salahuddin fought them and expelled them. الآن الوهابية الآن الوهابية تقول صلاح الدين كافر. Nowadays, the Wahhabis say Salahuddin is a kafir لأنه أشعري عقيدته عقيدة أهل السنة. Because he's an Ash'ari. His creed is the creed of Ahlus Sunnah. وهم الكفار. They are the blasphemers. MashaAllah.